Well, this is the second time I've been to Pearl Harbour, and when you come here, you tend to ask yourself, why? No, not why I've come to Pearl Harbour or why you've come to Pearl Harbour, but why did it happen? Why did the Japanese decide to get involved in something like this? Well, quite frankly, the Japanese wanted to rule the Pacific. They wanted to own the Pacific and all the islands in the Pacific. So one of the reasons why they bombed Pearl Harbour, they didn't want the Americans to get in the way of their conquest to secure the Pacific, the total Pacific region of the world, really. So the Japanese decided to take out the American fleet, and in Pearl Harbour at the time, that was where all the American big battleships were and the aircraft, everything was here. So the Japanese decided to bomb Pearl Harbour to take the Americans out so they wouldn't be in their way for their conquest to conquer the Pacific. And they also wanted to secure oil supplies because they needed oil, they needed fuel to undertake this attack on the Pacific. So that was really the main reason why the Japanese blew the tripe out of Pearl Harbour and took the Americans on to take the Americans out. But what they didn't realise is, even though the attack on Pearl Harbour was very, very severe with a loss of life, high loss of life and equipment and men, they didn't really complete the job. And unfortunately for them, not long after that, the Americans struck back and they went out into the Pacific and met the Japanese head on and took a lot of their big guns out. So the moral of the story is here, when you take somebody on like the Americans, you want to make sure you finish the job, because if you don't, they will come after you. And I suppose at the end of the day, well, what's going on in the Middle East now, don't think it'll be further from the truth. So that's one of the main reasons why the Japanese came to Pearl Harbour, to knock the Americans out of the way, just get them out of the way, so they can continue on trying to take over the Pacific. But unfortunately, yeah, it had an impact, but it wasn't enough.